So this is our visa card for our entry into Cambodia. Luckily, there's a visa on arrival there. You don't have to apply in advance. It's just pay your money and go on through. And it was not a 5.5 hour flight to get here, but Google Maps knows that from Cat B to Cambodia, you have to stop in Ho Chi Minh City. So it's only really about 2 hours distance on that flight. Anyways, hope you enjoy Cambodia. We thoroughly enjoyed our Mad Monkey Hostel experience. They're a chain in Southeast Asia that are very well known as the Party Hostel. And we had quite a good time there. Anyways, Phnom Penh is an amazingly beautiful city, but really no stop here would be complete without taking some time out to acknowledge a rather dark spot in their recent history. The Khmer Rouge ruled here in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979, and this particular spot, S21, was a school turned into a torture facility. And basically anybody that was a scholar, anybody soft hands could get you killed, wearing glasses could get you killed. They wanted to empty out the cities and send everybody to the farms, and anybody that didn't fit the profile of a farmer was tortured and killed. They were tortured to get their confession that they did something against the almighty party. And they would also kill their children and family members so that there would be no one to avenge the deaths. These three men are actual survivors from this site. They were deemed useful because they were one an artist, one a typewriter repairman, and one was a boy that hid in some laundry with his brother. Generally, they were then sent to the actual killing fields here, where they were simply killed and buried in mass graves. And an estimated 2 million people were killed, almost 25% of the Cambodian population. And these places exist just to remind us how bad people can be, I guess, and hopefully we'll never repeat it. This tree was actually used to kill children so that they couldn't avenge the murders of their parents. It was all in all an extremely cold experience, but I think one that should be done. Hopefully we'll never repeat something like this again as a race. We left Phnom Penh and traveled to Siem Reap by bus. It was supposed to be about a 6-hour bus ride, but we stopped about 4 or 5 times to put air in one of the tires, and ultimately they put the spare tire on. Let me tell you how good the beer was when we got to our hostel that time. So we rented a scooter for a trip to Angkor Wat. It lies about 7 kilometers north of the town of Siem Reap. And of course we wanted to go there first thing in the morning to catch the sunrise that it's so famous for. Unfortunately, we didn't have a great sunrise day. But we took a ride out the night before just to kind of scope things out and have a look at it. And wow, it is impressive. I wish I could tell you everything there is to know about Angkor Wat, but I really can't, and the more I read, the more confusing it gets. Some of the things that everybody seems to agree on, though, it is the largest religious monument in the world. It's over 400 acres and over 1,000 buildings, and the moat around it is 600 feet on all 4 sides. You have to cross a little causeway to get to it. They were working on the causeway when we were there, so we actually crossed on a temporary floating structure. It was built in the 1100s by, if I can say his name properly there, Suri Averman II, and many believe that it was built as a funerary or a mausoleum. Most temples from that period face east. This one faced west, and west was considered the direction of death. So they consider that for that reason, probably it was built as a funerary. One thing that there is no doubt about, though, is that it was built as a Hindu temple, and the elites were following Hinduism while the general population was more and more turning to Buddhism. And in fact, within about 100 years, it was taken over as a Buddhist shrine. It was abandoned sometime in the 15th century, and you know why? War generally is the reason. But while we were there, we read more, and apparently it was a victim of its own success. The weather in the area is monsoon floods followed by 9 months of drought. And at Angkor Wat, they learned how to manage the water, and they had a very complex series of dikes, and it allowed them to grow rice crops all year round, and they could get 3 harvests a year. And that was the only way they could feed the population there. And once their fragile waterworks system was broken down, they could no longer do that, and it was back to 1 crop a year. And a lot of experts believe that pretty much spelled the end, since they could no longer feed the population. It was never not used. There was always some people there, but certainly it lost its prominence once all the great leaders left there and headed east. Hope that helps. Of course, we took in some of the nightlife in Siem Reap at their pub street, and Gigi went out and learned how to drive a motorcycle. She took our rented scooter for a little ride and did a great job.
Here's Gigi's great motorcycle debut. Oh, she lost her confidence. When she went fast, it was no problem at all. There we go. Faster is easier.
Here we are in our motorcycle tuk-tuk taxi on our way to our next great adventure.